Hi, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Wide Receiver Wednesday. I'm your boy, Herman Moore, here to break down this week's matchup. We have the Minnesota Vikings facing the Detroit Lions. The Lions go on the road. They're in the division. This is a very important game for both teams. I want to break down the offensive sets on both sides to let you know who I pick. And then ultimately, I want to let you know who do I pick and give the edge to for this football game. Let's start with the starting wide receivers, the number one guys for both teams. We have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and we have Justin Jefferson. They are not the same wide receivers, but they mean the same to both teams. With Jefferson, you have a bona fide star wide receiver. Jefferson has been putting up amazing numbers over the last couple seasons, and he's also a guy that can break a game wide open if you don't keep him contained. St. Brown is a rising star. He is someone who has coming off of a 2-touchdown game against the Commanders last week. However, he's going to look to try and repeat that against a defense that's going to be waiting and looking for him at home. On this one, though, I take the veteran. I take Jefferson over St. Brown. You look at the number 2 spot. You have DJ Chark and you have Adam Thielen. Thielen, as you all remember, it's not so long ago where he was the number 1 guy in Minnesota. However, when Diggs was there and he was there, they were a tandem that you had to look for. Thielen is still the proven guy. He's still a solid choice. The upper hand I give him over DJ Chark on this one is the fact that there's so much uncertainty around Chark. He must be targeted more for him to move up on my list here. For this selection, I take Thielen. When you look at the number 3 wide receiver, I'm going to say Josh Reynolds, and I'm going to say also you got KJ Osborne. Josh Reynolds is a 2/3 wide receiver. He's a big guy. He goes at 6'3", 194 pounds. You got Osborne. He's at 5'11", 203. However, I give the edge to Reynolds. The reason being, Reynolds is more viable. He will be targeted in the Detroit Lions offense. With Osborne, he's in a crowded offense. You have Jefferson. You have Thielen. You have Cook. You also have Smith at tight end. So it's not a lot of passes there for him to get into that selection. I pick Reynolds. Now, this is going to be a tough one for some of you to swallow and for some of you to take. For the previous 2 weeks, as you know, I've been picking TJ Hockenson. I have a lot of confidence in him. He has great hands. I always consider him a wide receiver playing tight end because he possesses such great hands, great footwork. His blocking abilities have gotten better. Okay, we can say all those great things. He's considered one of the top 10, definitely in the NFL. Some may even consider him as having top 5 ability. The only problem is it has not turned the corner for him as quickly as we thought it would be. With Irv Smith, he may not have the notoriety that you see in a TJ Hockenson, but here's the difference. When Hockenson is targeted, the passer rating for Jared Goff is 33. When Smith is the target for Minnesota, you have Cousins with a passer rating of 92. That's a big difference. That is a big swing. They've both been targeted not equal number of times. TJ Hockenson has been 7 of 14. You have, and there's been a couple of drops, but then you have with Smith, he's been targeted 10 times where he's caught 5 of those. So neither tight end has really been that big of an impact, but you can see where the passer rating for the quarterback has been a little lopsided between Hockenson and Smith. So therefore I gave Smith the edge here. The running game, man, this was a tough one. This was a toss-up. Normally I just immediately go to Swift. DeAndre Swift has been doing a great job this season on both the passing game and the running game. He's created a tremendous amount of balance. These are similar backs. In a perfect world, you would consider them toss-ups. But I put more return with Swift because you're going to get the run and the pass with him. With Cook, he's a dual-purpose back, but he's going to be more run first, and then they're going to look for him in the passing game when the opportunities are there. I give the edge to Swift. Quarterback, we have Jared Goff, and we have Kirk Cousins. Now, these are different. Jared Goff, I am pretty excited about his growth. I'm pretty excited about where he's going. Right now, he's had, a very complete game last week. Against the Commanders, you can see the confidence. You can see his command of the offense, and he seemed to be very poised, and he just seemed to have the leadership quality that you look at for in a quarterback. With Cousins, he's come in to Minnesota, and they thought that he would be the leader. thought that he would be the one that would take them over the top as the quarterback. And they've had some great years. They've had some ups. They had some downs. But on this one, I'm going to give the edge to Cousins. Why? Because he has more targets. He just needs more time. So when I look at this and I say, who do I give my final edges to in this wide receiver Wednesday matchup? I'm going to look at wide receivers. I'm going to give that to Minnesota. The running backs, I'm going to give to Detroit. QB, I'm going to go with Minnesota because of the noise, because I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a little bit more advantage than Jared Goff will have. And then the offensive line for Detroit, even though Detroit, their offensive linemen will be facing a pretty good 3 interior defensive down linemen, but the edge rushers are going to be somewhat of an upgrade than what they've seen. So I give the complete game edge because it's at home to Minnesota. It's a very close game, but I think, unfortunately, the Lions fall just slightly short on this week's matchup.
Perfect.